Thanks for joining us. I'm Shalima Maharaj. We begin tonight with breaking news. The Gunnison County Sheriff's Office says an aircraft that was helping battle the Gold Mountain fire in Ouray County went down earlier today in the Silver Jack Reservoir. That's nearly 40 miles south of Montrose. The Sheriff's Office says one person was on board when it went down. As of now, there is no word on that person's condition or exactly what happened. Our team is working to get more details. We will bring you the very latest information as that becomes available. Now, we are also following a pair of new wildfires that have sparked, forcing evacuations in northwestern Colorado. This is a look at where the fires are burning south of Steamboat Springs. Now, beginning with the Green Ridge fire, Governor Polis has declared a disaster emergency in response. It is currently burning in Routt County. The governor's office releasing a statement this evening saying that the fire is about 25 acres with no containment. About 20 homes are under mandatory evacuation. Evacuation orders and pre-evacuation alerts have both been issued for people in the area of Stagecoach State Park. Now, that's about 16 miles south of Steamboat Springs. A second wildfire is burning near Rabbit Ears Pass in Routt County. The Fishhook fire has burned about 94 acres. There is currently no word on containment. Now, Routt County officials say that an evacuation center is available at Sirocco High School in Oak Creek. The center is for information only, though. It is not currently an overnight shelter. Now, there are crews actively working on that fire from the ground and in the air. We spoke to a woman who lives just miles from the Green Ridge fire about what she has been seeing firsthand.
At that point, we were seeing large plumes of smoke. And as you were driving down towards it, you could see it. And it was just incredible billows of smoke. And as you got closer, you could see the flames on the top of the trees.
Now, Courtney Cooper received a pre-evacuation notice. She and her parents have their bags packed. They are ready to leave at a moment's notice. She says that crews have been hard at work fighting this fire. They have been watching for several hours. According to the governor's office, the fire is threatening nearly 480 structures within 3 miles. Right now, we're going to bring in our 9 News meteorologist, Corey Reppenhagen, for a closer look how things are shaping up. Of course, firefighters were looking for some relief. We certainly are not seeing that right now.
No, and it's tough to fight those fires in the heat, which what they had to do out there in Routt County. That had some pretty good heat up there, about the same heat that we had here in Denver. Let me show you the winds out here currently on the fire, because they are starting to pick up in Routt County. You can see one fire here. This is Rabbit Ears Pass right here on the downward side and north of the highway here. One fire burning, and the other fire down here by Stagecoach Reservoir to the east of Oak Creek. All these winds are generally coming off the mountains from the east to the west, so any fire behavior would be pushed towards the west and to the northwest. Same thing with the wildfire smoke coming from that. So we're monitoring the winds. That's a little concerning. The winds have picked up quite a bit since the sun went down. Here's the heat, though, that we saw across the state today. 104 in Grand Junction, 101 tied a record in Montrose. Loveland and Greeley coming in with 100 for the second day in a row, and we had a bunch of places hitting 99 degrees. Here's some other temperatures. 95 officially in Denver, 95 in Steamboat. Same temperature in Denver as Steamboat, 93 out in Gunny. So some real hot temperatures. A little bit of cooler air out towards the eastern plains, and that did affect Denver International Airport. We're down to 78 right now. We might not go too far below 70, and that's part of the reason why we have a heat advisory for tomorrow, and the high temperatures are a little bit warmer tomorrow. So we have a 9 News weather impact alert for you tomorrow afternoon. The rest of the week, it looks like we don't have that extreme potential, but I'll detail those heat coming up in the full forecast.
All right, thanks so much for that, Corey. We will definitely touch base with you a little bit later on. Now, that heat wave that's been hitting other parts of the state, it is now here in the Denver area. 9 News reporter Rachel Kraus joins us live. And Rachel, experts say that this kind of heat could really impact your health.
Yeah, doctors say this kind of heat can give you heat exhaustion or even heat stroke. If you're overdoing it outside or not using the AC like you should, it could cause nausea, dizziness, vomiting, and even send you to the ER. As temperatures climb, doctors say heat-related illnesses do too.
We don't let the weather dictate our plan.
A red-hot July day would be enough to keep some away.
I mean, lawn bowling's not typically strenuous or an endurance sport, but today, this would have made, Lawrence of Arabia would have croaked out there.
Phil and John are braving the Wash Park heat for a 70th birthday party.
Lawn bowling, a lot of people think of it as really like a boring sport, but it's really a blood sport.
Yeah.
It got a little ugly out there.
It's deadly. Yeah. People get competitive, and then with the heat, you got to bring in the fire hoses and calm everybody down.
The heat wave is here. Temperatures hit 95 in Denver Sunday.
I wish it could be a little hotter, don't you think?
The western slope and parts of northern Colorado hit extreme temps this weekend, topping triple digits at times. Steamy enough to keep Dr. Joseph Ponce and the Advent Health Porter Emergency Department team busy over the next few days.
I think we might be.
Ponce says they've been seeing people in the ER with heat exhaustion and even heat stroke, which can be deadly. And outdoorsy Coloradans don't always know when to take a break from the summer heat.
I think a lot of times patients will overexert themselves during the middle of the day, whether that be at high altitude or here in Denver outside, and it can increase their risk for developing these heat-related illnesses.
With heat-related deaths on the rise nationally, Ponce says safety is something to take seriously when temperatures climb dangerously high.
If you're starting to feel any kind of symptoms while you're outside in the heat, whether that's exerting yourself or not exerting yourself, this can include things like nausea, vomiting, lightheadedness, dizziness. All of those are signs that you maybe need to go ahead and slow down, monitor your temperature, get out of the heat, and also focus on your hydration.
At the park, Phil and John have their ways of keeping cool.
We brought in the snow cone truck, and we shoved a couple people in there, and they made it.
Humor that's helping them through the heat wave.
When you get to be this age, things can't really get a lot worse, so it doesn't really affect us. We felt bad beforehand.
We have nothing to lose.
So if you're overheated, what can you do? Find a shelter to help cool down and get your body's temperature down, and dress for the weather. Wear lightweight, light-colored, breathable clothing, and don't skimp on the water, the electrolytes, especially if you've been outside for long stretches of time. Reporting live in Denver, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
Thanks so much for that, Rachel. Well, the city of Denver is opening up some cooling centers to help people escape that high heat. Denver Parks and Rec will open all of its rec centers as cooling centers during regular business hours. Each center will have a designated area with access to drinking water and restrooms. All Denver Public Library locations are also available for people to cool off. Well, Santa Fe Drive is back open after a weekend closure for a new bridge installation. Denver's Department of Transportation and Infrastructure said it would close Santa Fe Drive between Evans Avenue and Florida Avenue through tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. The agency said the road reopened ahead of schedule. Dottie said they're installing a critical piece for a new bike and pedestrian bridge. Now, that bridge will eventually let bikers and others cross over Santa Fe and the rail lines at Jewel Avenue. The city said the bridge won't be ready until next year. A frightening afternoon at Cherry Creek State Park today. Shots were fired in the park's swim beach area. No one, fortunately, was hurt. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says the shots were fired around 3:30 p.m. The Sheriff's Office said investigators cleared part of the swim beach so canines could search for evidence. 6 people have been detained in connection to the incident. There is no word on if they are facing any charges. The beach reopened a couple of hours after. Well, Kentucky Republican Senator Mitch McConnell revealed for the first time that a fall led to his hospitalization. The 84-year-old has been in the hospital for weeks, and there has been mounting speculation about his health. McConnell said in a statement that he fell at his home in Washington, D.C., and then contracted a mild case of pneumonia. He said his doctors have confirmed he did not break any bones or suffer a concussion. McConnell did say he was unconscious when he was taken to the hospital. The Senate resumes its session tomorrow, but McConnell will miss some time to continue his recovery. McConnell's health update comes on the heels of the death of his fellow Republican Senator Lindsey Graham. New information is shedding light on what caused his death. According to preliminary findings from the medical examiner, Graham died after a tear in his aorta. It's the main artery from the heart which supplies oxygenated blood to the body. An official cause of death will be disclosed after more testing. Graham died after returning from a meeting with Ukraine's president on Friday. Hours after returning to Washington, first responders were called to his home. He was first elected to the Senate in 2002. Graham was known for a more aggressive approach to U.S. foreign policy. He later became one of President Trump's closest allies in Congress.
This was very hard news to wake up to this morning. And he and I certainly fought plenty over our differences about politics and policy, but we also traveled the world together.
When I was a new senator, he welcomed me in. He knew that my path was different. He understood the power of change in South Carolina.
Flags at the White House and the Capitol were lowered to half-staff to honor Graham. He was 71 years old.